everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If it's Wednesday, that means we're making a new video. So today I wanted to talk about the different types of editing that you can have done on your manuscript. Last week we talked about once you have a completed draft of your manuscript, you would get beta readers to give you feedback on it. And then you take that feedback and you revise your manuscript more than likely. Now you have a revised manuscript and you feel like it's ready to hand over to an editor. And you've probably heard all kinds of terms thrown around for editing if you've been writing a book for a while and following any book publishing accounts. And so you're probably confused because lots of people are. The question I get the most often is, what are the differences between each type of editing, and do I really need each type of editing, and who does what, and how do I find somebody? And it gets frustrating. I actually have a section on my website that breaks down what the different types of editing are and tries to make it more clear what each one entails. The highest level of editing is what I focus most of my work these days on, which is developmental editing. I consider myself a developmental editor. That is my primary focus. What that means is a professional trained editor takes your manuscript and looks at every aspect of it from this view, this level view, the high level view, the bird's eye view. This is, do all these characters belong here? Are there holes in your plot? Have you structured the book properly? Does your middle really need to be your beginning? And does your beginning really need to be your end? And maybe you need a new ending altogether. Pacing issues, if it's dragging on in spots or if it's going too quickly in other spots. What's your dialogue look like? Is it really dry and boring, or have you done dialogue tags really well? Have you, used it to further the narrative and build characters? That sort of thing. In a memoir, as a developmental editor, I look at, are you telling your readers everything they're going to want to know about your story? And if you're leaving something out, I have to question why you're leaving it out. Why are you not telling us that? Is your voice ringing true in a memoir? Are you showing, not telling? That's a big one. You're going to get that note a lot as a writer. Show, don't tell. After a development edit, a book can look substantially different than when you turned it over to editing. There's a next level of editing, and I'm even guilty of this myself. A lot of people use these terms interchangeably. People will say DE and people will say line edit, and they'll say it's the same thing, and it's not. A line edit is literally what it sounds like. It is going through a manuscript line by line, making sure that the voice of the author rings through. It's a high-level polishing of your work. The next level of edit is copy editing. And what a copy editor does, the copy editor is not looking for plot holes, although they may notice them if nobody's caught it before, but they should have by then. What a copy editor is looking for is every word in this manuscript spelled correctly? Is your grammar correct? Is your punctuation correct? If you have named a character Jerry, is his name spelled correctly on each and every page? You remembered the car in your story, in your memoir, as an 82 citation. Did Chevy make a citation in the year 1982? They check those kinds of details. It's a detail edit. Your book, after a copy edit, is going to be polished up to a high shine. Everything is going to be spelled correctly. Everything's going to be used consistently. Facts are going to be checked. Proper names that you have used in your manuscript are going to be checked to make sure they're spelled correctly. All that sort of thing. It's a detail edit. So if you think about the layers of edit as a funnel, the biggest layer at the top is development. Then it funnels down to line. Then it funnels down to copy editing. Then the last kind of editing, and I do this kind of editing too. I do all the kinds of edits. Is proofreading. And you don't do proofreading until after your book has been laid out by a designer, because the proofreader checks for, once again, typos, misspelled words, missing punctuation, all those sorts of things. And they also check for design and layout issues. If you have missing headers or footers, if you have missing page numbers, if a paragraph has somehow gotten broken weirdly in design and now you have a weird spread of pages and things aren't where they belong, all those things your proofreader is going to check for. Your proofreader should always be somebody who has never seen your work before. They should come to it with completely fresh eyes, because the more we read our work, the more our brain fills in what we think should be there, but it may not actually be. A proofreader is almost scientific in their approach to looking for errors in your book, and they should also be a trained professional. Every single person that you pay to touch your manuscript should be a trained professional. We can talk in another video about the best place to find freelancers to work on your book and how much you might expect to pay them, and I will. But again, as with everything, every week I talk about a topic and I say if you have questions, you can tweet me, you can email me, or you can leave a comment here on my YouTube. But if you want a good breakdown of how I do each stage of editing, you can also check out my website. So that's it for this week, guys. A quick upshot on what the differences in the level of editing are. Think about it this way. Development edit, if I could say it right. Line edit, copy edit, proofread. Fact checking and other things happen in between there too at each different phase. Once you have a book that's copy edited, it should be the cleanest it can be. That's when you send it to your designer. And again, you have it proofread after it's been laid out by a designer. There's no point in proofreading an undesigned book, because once you put it into a design program, you can introduce new errors that weren't there before. So, and it happens. I mean, a designer sneezes in the middle of a page and all of a sudden you have a paragraph over here. It happens. That's why you want a proofreader at the very end of the process to catch every last little thing. And there is always a last little thing. There's never not. So again, as usual, thanks for watching. Happy reading. Keep writing and stay tuned. Bye.